Ladies and gentlemen, in an article released by the Game Informer, there's quite a bit of bombshell type of information regarding Bully 2. The game actually does exist, and we'll get into all that stuff and all the finer details when it comes to the game in this video. The article goes into great detail about how the culture was shifting within Rockstar, as well as how stuff changed for those developers that were working on Bully 2. So without further ado, let's dive into the more interesting bits regarding Bully 2 itself within this video. If you want to read the entire article for yourself, a link will be in the description down below. After GTA 4's release, Rockstar took a shift in the approach to releasing games. Rather than annual releases, the games will be more focused on being more expensive, prestigious, and often meant for an older audience and built around gameplay. This was also the case with Bully 2. The goal of Bully 2 was to make an immersive world that focused on being able to enter every building that you saw, rather than trying to make a map as big as GTA 4's or Red Dead Redemption's. Because you didn't have a car to drive anywhere, the attention could be more shifted towards those finer and more meaningful details, though the map would have been 3 times the size of the original Bully. There was a lot of focus on character, very deep systems, and seeing how far they could push exactly those systems, and trying to put that alongside of a GTA game. The studio was experimenting with ways to make the player's actions more meaningful than in previous Rockstar games, the more in-depth version of the honor system in Red Dead Redemption 2. In Bully 2, however, Rockstar New England was trying to develop ways to have characters actually remember Jimmy, for there to be good and bad consequences of his actions. As you might remember, this system has also partly ended up in Red Dead Redemption 2. In Bully 2, this would have gone even further than Red Dead Redemption 2, however. Design documents and conversations were had about building actual relationships with characters in the world. Quote, you would be like best friends with the chef in a mansion or something, or the chef would really hate you or something, and that would open up different options. I don't know to the extent of what it ended up, if that got pared down to a general you're good Jimmy versus you're bad Jimmy or what. I know in some early ideas been thrown around, you would have that fine-grained levels of relationships to other characters in the world. One of the world details mentioned as well is a grass growing system. This will be realistically growing grass over time, even showing individual blades. And yes, you could also mow the lawn. Personally, I think this system was then used for beard growing within Red Dead Redemption 2, as I would assume it's kind of a similar system. Technology for glass fragmentation in Max Payne 3 also stems from Bully 2's development. This was meant for breaking into houses. An in-depth climbing system was also planned for the game. Trees, fences, ledges, roofs, and sneaking out of windows. Trees being the biggest one here, climbing into them, then using them to hide in them, and then using weapons such as paintball guns and water balloons. But they never finalized how it would be implemented, as they were trying to figure out what was the best for the players and what would also look the best in the game. But here's the biggest bombshell of all. There's a 6 to 8 hour playable demo of Bully 2. The game actually exists, and all it needed was 2 to 3 years of more development time, and we would have had our very own hands on it. Quote, developers could run around in the world, interact with objects and NPCs. There were some missions, some of which involved go-karts, others a beekeeper, a Camp Krusty style mission, and one that had Jimmy in his underwear, even featuring a crotch bulge because, you know, it's Rockstar, it's important to show the bulge. Additionally, NPCs were walking around doing various day-to-day tasks. Buildings and houses within the game were also starting to become feature complete, though he points out that they weren't in a shippable form just yet. So that does raise the question, why was the game shelved? Why does Bully 2 practically exist, but has not been worked on for quite a few years? The answer to that is pretty simple. Red Dead Redemption 1 and Max Payne 3 needed to be finished. As you might remember, Red Dead Redemption 1's development was notoriously terrible for how much of a mess the development was. The game code till this day is still a mess, and well, for that reason, they needed more people to work on the game. So more and more people were pulled off the Bully 2 project, and it kinda just faded away, never to see the light of day again. In my opinion, it's truly a tragic thing that actually has happened, because there's a lot of very unique ideas and things that were going to be implemented within Bully 2, but somehow, someway have made their game into other games. Something like climbing into trees and that sort of stuff, I personally think that could be a good implementation for a future GTA game as well, or any other Rockstar game. Considering the fact that I don't really think there's anything like really out there, and it kinda does open up for some more unique missions too. Think like a stealth mission within a future GTA, where you're able to climb into a tree and from there being able to snipe someone out of a house or whatever. It does open up a lot more abilities, and I think at the very least what we can get away from this article is that Rockstar has these kind of systems and has been using these kind of systems, so the Bully 2 development wasn't really all in vain after all. To me, the main thing that I'm taking away from this article is that the Bully 2 development was definitely not as much as they hoped it to be. The Rockstar New England development studio really wanted to show the Rockstar gods that they were the ones that were going to bring them a great Bully 2 video game, but it ended up just being put to the side for the greater good, that being Red Dead Redemption 1 and Max Payne 3. A shame, but hopefully at some point Rockstar realizes, with maybe the reaction that they will get to an article like this, to push forward and hopefully continue on with the development. Obviously, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and these are all people who have since left the company, so it may still be possible that it's within development, but I kinda doubt it, considering most of the world on the street is the fact that the game has been cancelled and or shelved for an undisclosed amount of time. But with all that said and all that done, that was it for this one. Thank you so very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and if you really like what's here on the channel, consider becoming a member, like Chloe, Robert, Captain Price, Madman Dakota, and Shapeshift Gaming. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all later.